Hello, 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 everyone. It's Lauren. I'm back again, as I like to say. Um, so I'm super excited. Oh, as I said, I'm Lauren Young Durbin, founder of, oh, I did it right the first time, Tyche Career Coaching. I always get it the wrong way. For those who don't know, uh, Tyche Talks, which is where you are now, it's a bi-weekly, that's right, a bi-weekly live stream where I talk to experts about various different topics. And as always, if you guys have a topic you want to hear discussed, let me know. Drop a comment in the comment box, or if you're watching this and it's recorded, you can just send me a DM or whatever. But so I'm super excited for today's, sorry. That's how excited I am. I'm super excited about our guest speaker today. And we're going to talk about from stagnant to stellar, level up your routine to get unstuck, because I know I need to work on that. But let me tell you a little bit about our amazing guest today. I'm super excited. I know I keep saying that. That's because I am. Because I'm always trying to refine my routine. But anyway, let's talk about Nancy.
Great.
She's a co she's a collaborative, results-driven, certified executive coach, thought leader, and strategist who serves growth-oriented individuals and teams to clarifying goals, overcoming obstacles, and driving optimal results. For co-thinkers, yeah, she calls her clients co-thinkers. That's actually kind of brilliant. They appreciate Nancy's dynamic enthusiasm, her ability to cultivate self-awareness, her unwavering support, thoughtful guidance, and support for asking for her talent for asking pivotal questions make a powerful combo for broadening perspectives and revealing new possibilities. At each step, Nancy inspires creative solutions and enable co-thinkers to identify and achieve meaningful milestones. Her, I'm laughing, you'll see why. Her impactful STFU process, that doesn't stand for what you think. I thought so too, when I need to stop like interjecting, but I did think it's good for what you, she'll talk more about it. But anyway, her STFU process ignites co-thinkers to move from feeling stuck to gaining confidence and advancing with actionable progress. So a round of applause for Nancy. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much, Lauren. I appreciate that long introduction. I appreciate that. I also appreciate that you interjected and corrected yourself. I do that all the time, so I love it. It feels very familiar to me. I
How
do
you
want
know
to
it's
make,
live?
yes, there was one little thing,
Okay,
continuous
but
quality improvement, that I am not, so I love that you are interviewing other experts. I am not an expert. I am not the world's greatest expert. I am maybe the world's greatest non-expert. And in that same vein, I am not a thought leader either. You're like, well, why are you here? And that's because I am a thought partner. And that's why I don't like the client word. It makes me feel like I should be in a suit and have a briefcase, which I'm allergic to. But I really, I think of the people that I work with, because I work with them and I partner with them as co-thinkers. And I got to tell you the honest truth. I mean, I do charge them because we're all in, right? We all have to do what we have to do. But
yeah.
about half the time, I'm getting ideas from them and taking those improvements and tuning in and having aha moments as I'm working with them. So
Yeah.
that's why I do that.
You're being modest because when we spoke earlier, I learned so much for you. So you may not consider yourself an expert, but I will. I'm not, I'm going 10 toes deep on that. So
Okay. All right. I'll let my
that's your
husband
cool thing.
know.
So why don't we just jump right in? So today we're talking about routines and we talked a little bit about before we started that I'm still working it out. But how do you know? How does one know, I should say, that their daily routine is holding them back?
So routine is such a broad statement, and we only have, how much time do we have?
About half an hour, 24
Half an
minutes,
hour.
half an hour.
Okay. So, and everyone that knows me that's listening in, and Lauren and I have only had a few conversations. She knows I can talk. So I'm really trying to pay attention to time. But that's why I wanted to put some boundaries on what I talked about today. And the boundary is I'm talking specifically about morning routines,
Yeah.
right? There's a lot of routines, right? There's the
Yeah.
routine, there's a dance routine, there's a nighttime routine. I'm talking about a morning routine. Doesn't
Yes.
mean what you do before noon, but I'm talking about those small changes that you can make on what happens between the minute you wake up
Hmm.
and the minute you start your day, which is going to be different for all of us.
Yeah.
That's a morning routine. For some people, starting our day, if we work at home, is I turn on my computer. I have my first meeting. For other people that have to schlep into an office, sorry, that was an interjection. For other people that go into an office, it's the minute they walk through the door. For
Mm.
other people that may be joining us today, it may be that they're students, they walk into class. So that I just wanted to put that limitation on it.
Okay. So how do you know if your morning routine is holding you back?
Okay, good. So there are a lot of signs. My how I talk about the people that I work with is that they're stuck in some way. They're not
Hmm.
making progress. And we all get stuck. The signs that your morning routine is not working for you is the one of the major ones is that feeling of like I feel like I'm not moving forward. It could
Hmm.
be it could be not moving forward if you have a goal, whether it's a personal goal or professional goal, and you feel like you're not moving forward. There are 10,000 books and podcasts and consultants and coaches that you can overwhelm yourself with.
Yes.
But if you make tiny little changes in what you do in those first few hours, that could move you, maybe not all the way, but could really move the needle. So feeling stuck, feeling unmotivated, low energy, a
Hmm.
lot of times just tuning into your body. I mean,
Right.
sometimes, listen, you're tired because, Lauren, I don't have to tell you, you have twin toddlers. I don't have to tell you what it feels like to be low energy. Although you've never appeared low energy to me, which is a miracle. But
Oh, yeah. Straight up faking it.
you're not live streaming at that time. But low energy is key, right? We've all had that time when we're like, oh, or what my sister and I call the dread factor. Like you get up and you're like, oh gosh.
Hmm.
The other the other way I like to describe it, and this may only click with some people that are listening, and that is I have this feeling that I like to call time to make the donuts. And there was a Dunkin' Donuts campaign years ago that some
Yes.
people won't know. And the guy woke up and he kind of got famous. He was like the
Yeah.
guy's sleeping and he's snoring, and the alarm clock, and you know it was an old ad because it was an old alarm clock, right? It wasn't an iPhone or and it was the alarm clock showed like some crazy hour, 3 a.m., 4 a.m. And it goes off and he's like, he opens his eyes, like, time to make the donuts.
Donuts.
He shuffles in. So that kind of time to make the donuts, like when you don't want to go to work in the morning or you don't want to face any part of your day, work or not, that's that feeling for me. So that gets at that
Mhm.
unmotivated, low energy, etc. So paying attention, those things people have over and over and over again. So shortening the time, when you keep on getting that message, shortening the
Mhm.
cycle, like you've had it 4 days in a row, red flag. So just being sensitive to those flags. So those, I think it's pretty straightforward of when you need to make a change or think about a change in your morning routine.
Mhm. So why, well, I'll just ask, why did you want to focus on the morning routine during our talk, like as opposed to the evening routine?
Well, if you listen, at another point, I'd love to talk about the evening routine.
Go back, you can do the evening
But
routine.
listen, number one, I'm a morning person. I have
Ah,
tons of energy in the morning, which is why when I don't have tons of energy, I'm like, whoa, something is really wrong. But I have tons of energy. In fact, it's probably, yeah, 3 o'clock. My energy wanes early, right? By seven,
right.
a good day for me is you're in your pajamas at 8 o'clock. That's a win, right?
That's
So that's
exciting.
so that's first morning routine. But the second part is based on science. What we do in the morning, those first 2 hours, the morning sets the tone for the day.
Yeah.
The day sets the tone a lot of times for the week. If you have a great Monday, chances are Tuesday is going to be pretty good. If you get up late on Monday, you don't get to the gym, you don't hydrate, you're dehydrated, you have a headache, you don't sleep well Tuesday, it builds.
Yeah.
So that's why I
Snowball
really
effect.
was interested in focusing on the morning routine. And you probably will figure out some other things that I love about the morning routine that made me want to focus on that part.
So how, once you're like, okay, I'm feeling sluggish, I'm not unmotivated, what are some of the first steps that you can take to make those small changes you're talking about? Because I think a lot of us, we're like, I need to make a change. So I'm gonna get up at, we're usually getting up at 9. I don't know, picking up a time. Not me. I wish I could. But they're like, I'm gonna get up at 4 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning, join the 5 o'clock in the morning club. So you always think these huge big changes, but realistically, how do you start making the small changes that add up?
Right. And that is so key. What you just said, the changes that stick are the changes that are small and gradual. And
Hmm.
I'm going to try to remember to give you a great example. But so when I think about, and I did listen, I get stuck all the time, and
Yeah.
not all the time, less frequently now. But I people when they get stuck, it's that same thing of what when you have that feeling like stop. It's this STFU. By the way, you're right. I really don't want to have that. We all know what STFU stands for. It doesn't mean that entirely, but it a little
Okay.
bit stands for that because it's something that you're talking about and bothering you, and you're not doing anything about it. It's like STFU. So
Okay.
doesn't okay means one thing, but it means stop, think, focus, and unleash. So if you're having that feeling, the first thing
Mm.
is, I think it's pretty easy to figure out as you whatever it is that you're not feeling progress or wherever you're feeling stuck or sluggish, is to just stop for a second
Hmm.
and stop. Be like, you can kind of tell what are the things that you're doing that are not serving you with no judgment. So in other words, I'm not going to use that. Well, I'll use that example a lot. Your phone. So if
Hmm.
you're one of these people, and I'm going to use this a lot, so I know it's going to annoy some people that are like, I have to check my phone every 3 minutes. But if you're waking up and you're checking your phone, I don't know many people who say, it made me feel great, gave me a ton of energy. I am so glad I spent an hour on Instagram this morning. I'm so glad I skipped my workout. I ignored my wife. I'm feeling great. I really feel like nobody does that. So there are things that we can do that can kind of feel like, ooh, I feel that was a waste of time. Or so there are things that we're doing as part of our morning. Stop doing them.
Hmm.
It's a power of the pause too. Just like something's not working here, I got to change it up. The next thing is think. So thinking is like, what can you add in? Thinking is brainstorming, which is one of my favorite sports of all time. So the brainstorm is, I love it. I To a fault, I'm sure. So brainstorming is not getting hung up on anything. Just like throw it out, right? You're thinking, what else would I do at this time? If I don't spend an hour on my phone, or if I don't spend an hour watching the news in the morning, what else could I do? And so it's thinking, because you've been thinking maybe about these things. They're
Hmm.
somewhere, but don't think about it in isolation. T also stands for talk to other people. People at work who just they seem to have a pep in their step. Um, People that you may live with, friends that say, "Oh, I got the best routine. I feel so awesome when I do this." And then tuning in. So when I think about tuning in to podcasts, sometimes things that aren't necessarily related to morning routines, but tuning
Hmm.
into podcasts of voices that you listen to and you always get something from them. So I have a short list of people. I always, if I'm feeling stuck, even if it's brief, it's a little thing, a little frisson, if you will. I was a French major too. Um, if you have that, um, tune in to what other people are saying, podcasts. And the other thing is reading. That's
Hmm.
one of my personal goals. And I know you just started a book club, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, I have a club of one. I'm always reading.
That's okay. And that's something I want to do more of. It's a personal goal of mine because I love learning. So we can get things from books, not
Yes.
necessarily related to career, job, or profession. So just any, fiction can give us a lot of ideas. So
Yes.
that's the think. And then the focus is once you have 10 things like, okay, I'm going to take kickboxing, I'm going to listen to 2 podcasts, I'm going to try a new yoga class, I'm whatever it is, I'm going to wake up a half hour earlier, whatever your things are that you've done this quick little brainstorming and thinking and talking and tuning in. Then it's to focus. So you don't hang on anything too long and analyze it and overthink the pluses and the minuses. But what are the first two? Here's the thing with focus. Focus helps us to prioritize and not get
Yeah.
overwhelmed. Overwhelm is one of those feelings. And actually, when you're overwhelmed, I failed to say that at the beginning. That's one of those other signs that you need to retool your morning routine. If you're feeling overwhelmed, I have too much going on, I can't get to everything. I'm late everywhere. There's too many damn podcasts. What do I go? What do I listen to? Email me. I have some great
Yes.
ones. But that's focus, which is sit back, without going too long, what are the ones that would be easy for you to try? You don't have to buy any
Mhm.
equipment. You don't have to move across the country. You don't have to wake up 4 hours earlier. You don't have to go buy 62 ingredients to make the best green drink on earth. What can you do quick and easy?
Mhm.
That's easy. You try it. And then the next thing is just do it. Don't be like, well, if I do this, if I go to this yoga class, what will my other yoga people think? No, just try it. So that's the unleash part.
Unleash. Okay. I was like, what
And
was the U?
unleash is act, right?
Okay.
Acting, and it was the great, actually the expert in getting unstuck, or one of the experts, is I think he's at NYU. Adam Alter just came out with a book, and his thing is, I don't know exactly what the quote is, but it's something like action is, the great remedy to inertia, something like that. I don't know
Yeah.
exactly what the words are, but just taking action. So it's okay to pause a little bit. That's part of my stop, right? Stop. You don't want to start flailing and trying 50 things, but going through this process, um, I think has helped a lot of people that I've worked with and helped me personally.
Yeah, I it was just thinking. I'm like, it's interesting that the first step is stop and the last step is action. I'm like, kind of all encompassing. So let's say you decide to go to a different, use your example, like different yoga class. How how do you know when it's time to add something else in? Like, how do people figure out, like, okay, I've added this in. Is it just like, do you feel better? Do you feel worse? That kind of thing? Or is there like a more systematic way of doing it?
That is, well, it kind of boiled down the system for me. Is it worth checking in with yourself? There's a little more, there's a little more to it.
Mhm.
So it's with the routine, and I maybe should have said this up front. And that is when people talk about getting stuck, sometimes they're like, I'm sick of my routine. So why do they want to focus on their routine, right? So we use routine in that way. The thing
Yeah.
about the routine, like everything else, one could argue that this is true of chocolate, for example, is that you want a balance. Some is good, too much is not good. So we never want to do without chocolate. But if we're eating it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, probably not a great idea. So the same thing is true. How to achieve the balance between, which is very important in a morning routine, because if
Mhm.
your routine is too structured, if you're like, this is it, I always do this, I wake up, I eat this, I go to this class, then I drive. If your routine is too structured, you're not going to stick with it. It doesn't leave you any room for creativity and innovation, and it can work against you in achieving your goals. So you and I know, because we're independent, right? So we're largely making our own schedules. And so if we're too structured, we're like, this is always what I'm doing. I'm always going to wake up at this time and do this. Well, you can't be that structured, because occasionally there's going to be a huge opportunity where someone's like, Lauren, I really need career coaching, but I have 12 children and an executive job, and the only time that I can talk is 6 o'clock in the morning. That's an exaggeration. But in order to align with our goals, we have to be structured, but we also want to be flexible. But if we're too flexible, we're like, I don't know, what should I do today? And that's too many decisions, and that stresses us out, which is another huge sign that you need to change your morning routine, which is what I see with a lot of people that I work with, is they're just like, I'm stressed out. And it might be something about work, and there might be things that they can do at work, but there is so much that people can do before they turn their computer on, get in their car, walk through the door, sit, whatever it is. Does that answer your
Well, okay,
question?
so it does. I'm going to push back a little bit about the
Okay. I love
structure.
it. I love a challenge. Come on.
So when I was running, and I keep saying, my husband tells me all the time, you keep saying you're going to start running again. Like, as Scarlett Harris said, tomorrow is another day. Uh, I am not a morning person at all, unless the morning is whatever time it is in London when I wake up. I'm an afternoon person. So when I was running and I was training for half marathons, I couldn't allow myself time to think. So it was almost like it's time to make donuts for me. I'd wake up early,
Oh,
usually like 5:30 or so, because I'd like get up and eat something. But it was just kind of like it was like robotic. So that by the time I got that first mile in, that's when I first started waking up really. But I had to be that structure to really get me towards that goal. Like I couldn't give myself any leeway because I am not a morning person. I'm not a natural runner. I started running in my late 30s.
oof.
So none of it was natural to me. What's natural to me is laying in bed,
Okay.
reading my book. So, so I think sometimes I would say check in, like you said, check in with your body and see if it's working for you, as opposed to like, well, I have to keep changing it because I don't want to get bored. It's like, well, if you're bored, change it. But if it's working, keep it.
Yeah. Well, it's not
That's,
only checking in with yourself, but checking in with others around you.
mhm.
So if you're checking in with people that you spend a lot of time with, I mean, I love to do this probably ad nauseum with people that I live with or spend a lot of time with, is like, hey, you know what? I'm trying to make this change. Have you noticed, have you noticed anything? Or have you noticed that I'm a little bit more relaxed? Or have you noticed I'm a little more flexible? Um, those types of things, checking in with the people around you. And then also, if you're not meeting your goal, so running was the perfect one. You had a goal. Well, if you are, and listen, it's not first failure. In fact, there's data on this too. And I love research and science. It's overwhelming. But failure is critical to getting unstuck. So the first
Mhm.
time you fail, so in other words, you're training for half marathon. You run the half marathon, you give up halfway, you have an ankle problem, whatever, you know, there's a lot, try again, right? And then try
Mhm.
again, and then try again. Um,
Yeah.
but but there's a point of diminishing returns where you might say, maybe I'll dial back the running. And what are other people doing? Because what's the reason that you ran in the first place? You might be like, I want to get in great shape because it's important to me to be strong for myself, feel
Mhm.
confident, be here for my, have enough strength to lift these two boys up with one hand. So there are other ways. So
Yeah.
frequently when we have a goal, there's a reward or there's something that we work for, and there's more than one way to get there.
Yes.
So it is a balance. And the third thing is not only tuning into your body, tuning into, what your feelings are and your thoughts, tuning into the people or asking people around you. But the third thing is, you are not the only person on earth that has had the goal, that started running late, relatively late, struggled, and achieved or maybe made a change. So that's
Mhm.
the type of thing when I'm talking about there's so many sources. So zeroing in on, how can I find out what other people have done that have struggled with this? And some
Yeah.
of those stories, by the way, might be like, I was the last one of my 26 races. On the 27th race, I placed in my age category, and that was the whatever. Or there are people say, I have horrible back problems. I realized it wasn't for me. I was getting in fights with everyone at work because I was so grumpy because I was getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Right. And they're like, I think I'm going to do something else. I'm going to join a spin class to achieve my fitness goals. I love that. All I have to do is drag in there and hop on the bike and turn it on.
Someone else telling what to do. I'm not going anywhere,
Exactly.
but I mean, the time is flying, but I want you to let us know where we can find you, how can we keep up with you, all the goodies.
Okay. So where can you find me? www.experienconsulting.net is my website.
Okay,
Okay.
that's .net, guys.
Um,
.net.
.net. Yes. Even though
Yes.
I'm not really a consultant anymore, I do a little consulting, but got to get my tech guy on that. My phantom tech guy. Okay. And then the second way is I'm on LinkedIn. I'm not particularly active, which is why I so am inspired by Lauren, because she is active and always has something bright and positive and encouraging to say and comment on. But I am on there occasionally. And I am Nancy A. Davis, MPH, Master in
Okay.
Public Health. So, okay. And then the third way is the most direct. I love to hear from people directly. And I am Nancy at davisatl.com. So,
Hmm.
okay. So if anybody wants to know what are the greatest podcasts, not the greatest podcasts of all time, who I'm listening to, or what I'm reading, things like that, who has the best morning routine? Now, here's something that's interesting. And Lauren, keep me honest on time here. You'd be like, okay, 1 minute, 30 seconds. Um, and that is that this is a hugely interesting topic. If you are ever at
Yes.
a dinner party, you are bored, you're sitting next to someone who's not talking, or maybe you're a single person and you're on a date. Ask them if they make their bed, because I did that as a science experiment. I love conducting science experiments. And you would not believe how much people wanted to talk, not only about how great it was and how productive they were when they made their bed, how it made them feel.
Mhm.
That I did this the other day, just because I'm like, are people interested in this topic that Lauren and I are talking about, this morning routine? These people, I don't want to be coarse, but they really wouldn't shut up. So all I asked individually, like, hey, do you make your bed? I'm just sort of curious. I'm doing a little research. People love talking about that. So people love talking about their morning routine. And if you
Mhm.
Google best morning routine, the results
Ugh.
are billions.
Yes.
So if you don't want to be overwhelmed, there's a few good ones. Some are more, and if you're a science-backed person, that would be someone like Andrew Huberman, who's a neuroscientist or neurobiologist at Stanford.
Yeah.
Everything is science-backed, including his commitment to not having caffeine the first 90 minutes of the day. And I'm like, I don't care about that science. It's never going to happen.
Think now.
Not happening, but you can pick and choose what works for you. Mel Robbins has a great morning routine that I love. Oprah has a great routine. She walks her 5 dogs. She meditates. She has that a lot in her morning routine. So there are some standouts.
Yeah, I'm going to work on my morning routine because right now it is waking up, running down the hall, getting the boys ready for camp or school, wherever it is in the year, and getting them to school. Okay. So it's a lot of like go, 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 go. But yeah, I think I need to take some time and meditate and just kind of be still. Maybe stop. That's what it is. I'm gonna do the stop part. Work on the
Just what
stop.
should you stop doing? What are you doing? Like, are you chasing your kids around, trying to get their shoes on?
No.
No.
It's I don't. Well, one of them wakes up like I do, very slowly, and the other one's very excited about life. It's
All
like
right.
I am old, excited. Still don't have to chase after him, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's just because I'm not fully awake. So I just, again, it's kind of like the running thing. It's kind of like I'm just going through the motions, and by the time fully wake up, I'm working. But it's
And
probably
that's
like an
just
hour,
your
hour and a
clock. And
half.
that's your clock. Everything, doesn't getting up early is not working for everybody.
Yeah.
There are certain things, like the whole coffee, not having coffee, I'm not doing that. But there are certain things that are just undeniably going to set you up.
Yeah.
Getting up at the same time every day. I'm not an expert, but I could argue that that's pretty basic. Starting with water, something when I was at Wellesley, that's how Lauren and I know or connected through our shared experience at Wellesley. I had the worst routine in the world. I wasn't waking up with water. I was popping a Diet Coke in the shower.
Wow.
Yeah, not good. But it's real, Lauren, just sort of to wrap up, it's super easy to think about. And that is stop when you have these nagging feelings, unmotivated, stuck, low energy. What can I stop?
Mhm.
And then a quick brainstorm, or what do I want to try that might give me energy, might work for somebody else. Listen, I heard it on whatever podcast that I was listening to. And then picking one to go with, getting to that action. You said at the beginning that actions at the end, stop, stop to action, but that's a really short, it's a cycle,
Yeah.
but the quicker you get to action, the better. So that doesn't mean try 50 things at once, but try something.
Yeah.
This is an experimentation.
Mhm.
And then it's sort of that continuous quality improvement cycle. You will find something when you stick with that you like and that works. It won't work forever,
Yeah.
but it will
Stay
work. It will work.
stay adaptable. I don't know why this is my move for adaptable, but whatever.
Hey, again, it works for you. So
Yeah. Again, thank you so much for joining us. And later this week, guys, I'll be doing my first book review. Not the whole book, it's just going to be part one of the book, the Think Like a Breadwinner. And in 2 weeks, we'll be back with career agility and AI with Marty Constant. So, guys, get in touch with Nancy. As you can tell, she's brilliant. She's probably like, I'm not brilliant, but she is. She's brilliant. I learn something
no,
with her every
you're
day.
brilliant.
Yeah, I am. So that's the proper way to respond. We're gonna have her back. She didn't know this. We're gonna have her back. We're gonna talk about the evening routine. We have to get the whole day in.
Love that.
All right. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks, or I guess later this week if you happen to watch my live when I'm going to be talking about what I think about this book so far. All right,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you,
Goodbye.
Lauren. That was fantastic. Thank you so much.